All right, so hey guys, I never tell anybody I am coming live ever. Maybe I should start so y'all could actually show up. I'm gonna see if anybody comes. I was sitting here and my Adderall was still working, so I was like, let's do a little live. And I'm over here now. I'm checking my Let me tell them. I'm over here checking Substack because for those who don't know, um, what just popped up? I don't know. We're on day 4, September 4th. We're on day 4 of the Faith and Finances Challenge. And when I say it's been so bomb, really exploring that intersectionality between manifestation, faith, and your finances, really exploring that intersectionality of like how I don't even know if I should say God backs up manifestation or manifestation backs up God's word and how to apply that to your life. When I say I knew the challenge would be good, I just don't think I knew it would hit the way it's really been hitting. So, the way we've been doing it, I'm going to talk about today a little bit because today was so good. I was led to do a follow up video. So, over on the Substack, like every day I post a podcast. I feel like you can't really see me, but it's just the way my thingy is sitting. I'm on my iPad. Maybe I should have got on the computer. So I feel like I'm like here. But yeah, so every day I post like a blog, a newsletter, then I post the audio, and on days I feel like it, I post a video. Well, today's topic was so popping that we did the normal post that comes out at 6 a.m. with the audio, and then like God was really talking to me and was like, no, we need to go deeper in this conversation. So much so I was like, I'm gonna bring this over here because there are two things that I notice people want to manifest, and I'm going to talk about both of them in terms of what today's talk was about. And it may kind of throw you for a loop because I feel like when people think about this term, this word that I'm about to use, they never think about it in the way in which I'm about to talk about it. So today inside of the steel well, which is where faith and finances is, we talked about the spirit of lack. So people tend to want to manifest one of two things. I don't know why one of two things, but it's always either love or money. And in the manifesting world, I have often sat with the fact that we have to be really careful because it is really easy to step from, ooh, yeah, by the way, where's chat when you on live on the iPad? Let me see. How you do it? Live chat. What you mean, welcome? I can't even see the chat. Can y'all see a chat box? Can y'all see a chat? This is how you know I don't go live enough because chat viewing options. But I don't see any chat. I don't know. If you guys are talking to me, do I need to look from my phone? Okay, let me stay focused. I'm gonna look from my phone. Oh, okay, so it's popping up, but I can't see it like child. Okay, good. Thank you for that. I appreciate that because I'm over here confused as heck. Okay, good. Y'all here? Okay. So today is about the spirit of lack, right? And so it came from Psalms 23, 1. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. So it talks about like the first line out of the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, is God promising that he's your shepherd and you shall not want. And so when we talk about manifestation, we often talk about money and love. I tend to stay away from love. I'm just not that interested in teaching and talking about it. But the way you do one thing is the way you do the next thing. And honestly, if you think about the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, it includes love. It includes money. It includes anything you could possibly think of. It includes health because source universe God is an abundant source universe God, right? There is no limit of anything the Lord wants us to have. And so in the very first line of that, that it lets us know the Lord is our shepherd. The Lord is looking out for us, right? But as I began recording about lack and how we have to be very conscious about moving out of lack, we have to be very conscious about not allowing the spirit of lack to take over. I also had to sit with, and it like hit me at some point when I was recording the audio, which is why I came back later, because I was like, no, we got more to say about this. That so many people despise wealthy. So many people despise wealthy people. I was on TikTok, and for those who know Becca Bloom, wealthy family. She's created success for herself. She just married somebody in finance, so yay for her, because that means she also married into extreme wealth. People were in the comments like, you're the only wealthy person that I can't hate. Wealthy people are so greedy, blah, blah, blah. Like so many crazy comments, right? And I was thinking, these people don't even realize that in their lack, that they've turned their lack into an idol. You know what? Let's talk about that for a minute, but don't let me forget where I was, okay? I'm gonna circle back, so if I ramble, it's because I'm gonna be distracted. It's not that I don't believe in a specific person. I absolutely, let me tell you something. Anything in this universe is available to us. It's not that I don't believe in a specific person. My issue is that oftentimes we in our human selves have painted this person as something that they may not be. People can show us their veil for a year too. That's how people end up marrying the people who end up later being like, not when we call them narcissists, but like classic textbook narcissists, because they came in, they swept them off their feet, they were so in love with them, blah, 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 blah. And I sometimes think that us with our human carnal mind, we fall in love with those external things. But when we say things like, instead of thinking, oh, I'm just gonna make up something, right? I want Kevin age 36, Kevin is an attorney at this place, and that's who I want. What if Kevin was a complete butthole when you marry him? What if Kevin would later end up beating your kids, molesting your kids, like all sorts of stuff? But if you then looked at Kevin and said, oh, I love these characteristics in Kevin. So when you are envisioning your SP, you're envisioning not Kevin, but a person that's envisioned that embodies the qualities in which Kevin possesses. That leaves room for the universe to leave you Kevin if he's the right pick. Because if he's the right pick, you ain't never got to imagine Kevin. You can imagine those things and it will be Kevin. Or his equivalent and better that is for you. And that's where I stand around SP, is a lot of times we are manifesting things that were not for us. That's why they are ill-got and we lose them hard and they bring us so much hurt and pain. People manifest stuff all the time. I got a friend I know manifested a house and then ended up, they struggled to pay for it, ended up having to sell it at the last minute foreclosure, like all sorts of foolishness, because you can manifest things that's not for you. So I am a believer in calling things into our life that is meant for us. Let me know if that makes sense. I am a believer in calling things into our life that is meant for us. But Trina, I think I was just coming to you over in the steel wheel. I think I was. Yes, that was you out, because you just replied to me. When if we're inviting in a person, that's why I don't care about this. The only time I put specific people, like the game of life, she said, if it's this person or better. Exactly. And I would have went and grabbed the book, but it's upstairs. I would have had to run, because that's what I thought about when I went to go explain it. The only time I ever envision something having to do with like a real person is if I'm envisioning like someone being healthy, someone being okay. You get what I'm saying? Or I'm envisioning my kid with like doors and opportunities open for him, but not to bring somebody in my life. Absolutely not. If he ain't here, he probably ain't supposed to be here. And if he's supposed to be here, I'm going to envision all those different pieces of him and he go come on in, if that makes sense, you know. I remember reading that in the Game of Life and How to Play It. Exactly. As a matter of fact, I got a audio from earlier this month or last month when we were reading it where I highlighted this piece. That is my one thing about it. So it's not, you can absolutely manifest that. It's just those other pieces. I don't particularly care for that. I totally agree, because think of a specific person. What if it wasn't your? That's what I'm saying. What if it's not your divine counterpart? I don't believe in doing love spells. No. If I got to do all that, you're not for me. You're not for me. And that's just kind of how I sit with that. And so I really do believe we are co-creating with source, with the universe, with God, like whatever works for you. I believe we're co-creating. And so we can absolutely manifest things into being that are absolutely not meant to be. And then they're ill got, and we have extreme horrible experiences. And then we have the audacity to blame God. We have the audacity to blame God. I've done it, right? So I don't particularly care for that, for me personally. And so, yeah, you can definitely give ASP, but is that what you want to do? And let me also say that revelation, hold on, I'm having it while I'm talking to y'all. So hold on, hold on. Feeling like you need a person so much. Feeling like it's this person or nothing else, which is interesting. Trina's on here, so this is the topic we're on today. Feeling this desperation for this person that you over here doing love spells, you purposely envisioning them. They not your man or your woman. You might be envisioning somebody else's man or woman. Like, you purposely envisioning them going to sleep, like all sorts of stuff. You have made these people your idol, just like what I was going to get into today around money. You made these people in so many areas of our lives. We have made something outside of source be our source, be our God, right? So today, what we were actually talking about, we're talking about money again because it's faith and finances, so it's a 30-day challenge. And when I started talking about the spirit of lack, it like came up while I was talking about, I hadn't planned for it, so I didn't stop to talk because I wanted to keep the audios kind of short. But then I came back and did a part 2. And in the part 2, I talked about how we often talk about the wealthy, and we often talk, I hope I ain't showing too many boobs, but I'm getting a little warm. We often talk, I'm going to take my arm out so I don't show too many titties. Well, thankfully the camera up here today. But we often talk about, the wealthy and how greedy they are. But what we don't realize is that when we start making moves from a space of lack, when we make our decisions from, I don't have enough, I don't have it, anything other than God, that's idolatry. We have made that thing become our God. So just like money can be your God, lack can be your God. Scarcity can. Like literally, we have moved and stepped into a space of idolatry. And so often when we are manifesting SPs or anything else, we are so obsessed. There is no way you have not stepped into a space of idolatry. And then we wonder why we get those things. And again, they're ill-gotten and they're lost in some ways that's extremely painful for us. When God, source, universe could have brought us the perfect person, could have brought us the perfect financial opportunity, could have brought up just exactly what we need in the best way, and we were able to get it and keep it. But instead, we were so focused on, we have to have this, and then we got it and wonder why it turned out the way it did. Why in the end, almost always when something was not created with the universe, it wasn't co-created with God, there will be tears and heartbreak and heartache along with it, because God didn't call you to that. But free will is a thing. Free will is a thing, and we can have it. And so we just have to really be careful when we are moving around in life, when we are asking for certain things. We have to really, really be careful that we are asking for the will of God. We are asking for what is perfectly aligned with source for us. What's in alignment, not what what we physically think we're supposed to have. Because the truth is, if you really did have it all together like that and you really knew, you would have it already. That's it. That's it. So we have to be careful. And even I, when we went through and we were talking about idolatry, actually I'll read it to you guys. It's actually open to it's open to till midnight actually. So the way it works is every day a new lesson comes out at midnight. It goes away my time, Eastern Standard Time. It goes away, and it might have left a little early while I was in Portland. Well, only did it leave? No, it might have left a little late while I was in Portland because of the time difference and threw me off. But it's available until midnight every day, and then if you want access after that, you can get the literary card and just unlock everything on the site. So let me read this to you. So I'm not gonna go. Should we do the spirit elect? No, let's go straight to. Oh wait, I want to hear me talk. Hold on. Let's go straight to the idolatry hidden in financial decisions. Y'all ready? Okay. Most people think of money as an idol only when someone is openly greedy or chasing riches. But idolatry is far more subtle. Idolatry happens anytime we allow something to sit in the seat that belongs to God alone. I want to pause here because let's bring back up SP. You need this one person that bad. You don't need anybody but source. You don't need anybody but God. You can love a person like that, but need? Absolutely not. That means if money becomes the primary factor in how we make decisions, what we pursue, what we avoid, even when what we believe is possible, we have unknowingly placed it above God. I want to back up a little bit because it's some stuff that I know. This is the thing. I know every human has done this. And this is why I don't sit back and pass judgment on anybody with money, without money, etc. Baby, I got to make sure my garden is clean and over here. We got to work on us, right? If money becomes the primary factor in decision making, and you cannot tell me you've never had a moment where your decision was made based on what you had or what you didn't have or what you expected to have. If money is the primary factor in how we make decisions, what we pursue, like certain career paths, what we avoid, like certain career paths and spaces and places, knowing God called you to it. Some of us out here are like amazing artists, and the arts include a bunch of things. But because you were told you don't make money in the arts, you didn't go into that. All right. What we pursue, what we avoid, even what we believe is possible. How many of you don't even believe wealth is really possible for you? It sounds good to say, but the truth is you couldn't even imagine seeing $20 million in an investment account. Hell, you can't imagine seeing $1 million in an investment account. When that happens, we've unknowingly placed it above God. For example, saying, I can't take this opportunity because it doesn't pay enough, or I can't do what God is asking me because I can't afford it. How many times has God been telling you to sign up for something or bless somebody or sow a seed, and you like, I can't afford it? Idolatry. Oh yeah, my medicine went off. Yeah, I ain't crazy. It's just a little Adderall. So staying focused. You might get a little sinky Stephanie in the evening time. Because I can't afford it. That reveals that money, not God, is your deciding voice. When money determines the boundaries of our obedience, it becomes the object of our trust, the very definition of idolatry. Now, I want to go back. Think about SP for a second, okay? All right. For example, saying, I can't take this opportunity because it doesn't pay enough. For example, saying, I can't go out with this person because I'm waiting on this person, or I can't blah, 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 blah because of this person. Or I can't do what God is asking because I can't afford it. Or I can't do what God is asking because I know that's who I want over there. That's what I want over there. It reveals that your SP, it says money, but your SP, not God, is the deciding voice for you. When your SP and your desire for a person determines the boundaries of your obedience, it becomes the object of your trust, which is the very definition of idolatry. So you want to go in and fill in a blank there, whatever it is that we're talking about. Okay. And literally, I've typed this out. Like I typed this out for y'all. So you can read it, and it's a whole audio at the top that is also goes with it. Okay. So when I say this is meaty, this is meaty. Okay. Here's the paradox. Idolatry doesn't just look like excess. It can also take the form of lack. Living in a constant mindset of scarcity. I never have enough. I can't afford to give. If I lose this, I'll never recover. Is still centering your life around money. Even though it looks like humility, which is a word people love to pretend that they humble. That's why I've never pretended like I was. That's a lie. I'm not really. Or caution on the surface is actually keeping money the throne of your heart. That means that money is the king. Money is the most important thing to your heart, because you are literally believing that you can't do something because of money. And money is a limited resource on this planet. And my source has an abundance of everything. And I can't do this because of money. Oh, I can. When lack dictates how you see yourself, your options, even your God, you are worshiping the absence of money rather than the presence of God. Scarcity becomes the idol because it holds the authority to yes or no in your life. And I want you to pause with that, because when I was typing that out, I was thinking, I remember maybe 2012, 2011, 2012, somewhere in that time, when I used to make my decisions based on money. What I was going to do, how I was going to move, because I ain't got it, right? And then I started doing something different. I just started deciding and trusting that the money was going to show up. I didn't even know as much as I know on a spiritual level today. It was just my intuition, and I was like, I don't want to live like this anymore. You know? I don't want to live like this anymore. Vatrina, go grab, type this in there. You can go to thestillwellsociety.com, thestillwellsociety.com, and that should lead you directly, like on that page, it talks about the challenge, and when you say join the challenge, it should lead you over to Substack, okay? And that should get you there. And if that's taking too long to open, go to the schoolofquantumliving.com. They're the same website, but sometimes the Stillwell Society takes a little longer to open for whatever reason. So the stillwellsociety.com, somebody can type it in if you can, or the schoolofquantumliving.com, and that will open it right up. So, I just kind of hit a point in my life where I was just like, I don't want to make decisions like this. And yeah, you can question like, well, but what do? I don't have enough. And it's like, no, I'm going to have enough. I'm going to have enough. So I'm going to make the decision that I want to make. So you guys may have heard me talk about this before. When I decided I was going to travel a year through Europe and Asia with my kid when he was 7, and I took a nanny with me and everything. I ain't had no money like that for that. Like I didn't. So much so that I didn't have the money to pay for the airplane tickets at the same time, the house for the same time that I was paying for a month at a time. I didn't have it, okay? I paid for me and Kate plane tickets first. Then I came back a couple weeks on a hope, a wing, and a prayer that another plane ticket would be available to take somebody else with me when I got that money. And then the day before I left, the money finally showed up for me to pay for the house, which I had already reserved. And so I had to, as a matter of fact, it was the day I left. So I left one day and landed the next. So the day I left, I gave the money to my mother and I said, hey, can you go to Wells Fargo and wire this money to these people so they'll have it by the time I land, okay? I don't even know that they had it by the time we land, but we had proof that it was wired. When I say operating on faith, and everything came through for me, that move completely by faith changed my life. By the end of the next 30 days, I had my first $30,000 month. It changed my life. But it's because I made a very conscious decision that I wasn't going to make my decisions no more based on money. This is what I'm going to do. If I got to do it step by step, I'm going to do it. But it's going to get done, and we are going to go. All right? And I felt like the plane ticket, I couldn't back up on that plane ticket. So once I book this flight, that means we're going. All right? So scarcity becomes the idol because it holds the authority to say yes or no in your life. God never called us to be led by money. He called us to be led by his spirit, by his word, and by trust in his provision. So if you trust that God, source, universe, again, whatever feels good to your spirit, is here to protect you and provide for you and give you provision, you shouldn't be making decisions based on money anyway. All of your decisions should be based on source. All of your decisions should be based on God. And God has never been a God of lack. When money becomes the reason we stay small, when it becomes the reason we withhold generosity or walk in fear, we have surrendered authority to a false God. The truth is, God owns all the resources. He does not need us to idolize money. He wants us to steward it. I just feel like somebody need to write it down, even though you might see it if you open the steel wheel. He doesn't need us to idolize money. He needs us to steward money. You see, God wants us wealthy so that we can be a walking representation of what is possible when you are aligned with what source desires for you. We are a walking representation of what's possible. That in itself, when I hear people say like, oh, they are giving, let me tell you something. Different people have different missions. Their souls are called to do different things with money. For some people, them simply living, breathing, existing in wealth is inspiring other people to believe that God is able to open all these doors. It is inspiring other people to know that the universe is limitless and the universe will never stop giving things out. It's about you. It's not, they're not taking the resources. So you might as well stop hating them. They just know something you don't know. They're in alignment. Okay. He doesn't need us to idolize money. He needs to, what if you made a decision based on faith and provision and it did not materialize? Somewhere there was, first off, two things. It could have been somewhere there was something that wasn't in alignment. And the next thing is God's timing. Sometimes what we think should come through, and guys, if I'm missing some of them, it's because I can't see the whole chat. I can kind of see it if I'm looking up and it pop and I click it and I can see the one, but for some reason I can't see the whole chat. Thankful I saw that one. Sometimes timing. There have been times in my life when I have been making decisions based upon faith and what I know is there. And I'm not making decisions for something to come. Let me add that. I'm making decisions that way because that's how I'm supposed to make decisions. See, when we're making a certain decision so something can happen, now you're trying to manipulate God. We're in a space of manipulation. We're trying to manipulate the universe. But if you're making it that way because you know that's the way we're supposed to operate in the first place, you're planting those seeds for tomorrow. Sometimes things don't materialize because that's just not the timing it's going to materialize. The number of times I've had things that show up later and I'm like, well, dang, I wanted it back then. But at the time it showed up for me, it was the perfect time for the other doors and the other opportunities that were going to open for me in the process. I hope that makes sense for you. So there are several reasons that can happen, but also write that down. So many times we do things for an outcome. You should not be doing anything for an outcome. You should be doing it because you know that's the way we are supposed to move and operate. That's it. Because that's how you got what you got. The things you have done, the seeds you have planted thus far to get here, you didn't purposely plant seeds to get stuff you didn't want. But you did. That's just the way you were operating. So seeds you planted yesterday, they have to grow into something. So sometimes our timing also messed up because we are dealing with the harvest from the seeds planted on yesterday. Okay. Okay. He doesn't need us to idolize money. He wants us to steward it. He doesn't want us to live bound by lack. He wants us to live in faith, knowing that he is our source and our supply. I've never done a part two. Okay, this is when I was talking about the part two. And then I did a prayer. I've been doing that for so many years, waiting for an outcome. No, we don't wait on outcomes. You're doing it because you're supposed to do it. And you don't wait on the outcome. First off, it's knowing that the outcome is already there and it's just been stored up for you to be in alignment. But as soon as, again, when you do something for something, you are now manipulating or attempting to manipulate the universe. That's what a lot of people are doing. You cannot manipulate God. And it's not conscious. Let me say, we've all done it. You cannot manipulate God. That is what in the manifestation world, it'll get to a point where really you'll think a thought and in a day or two, it'll come. It's not because you manipulated anything. It's just that now you've been so trained and you, like literally you're in alignment with everything that you desire. You are in full alignment. So you didn't think the thought to get the thing. You just thought the thought like, oh, that'd be cool. You didn't think that thought for that reason and you let it go. See, what happens is often the reason we can't let a thought go or a vision go or a thing go is because the truth is we have not fully aligned with that thing yet. And that thought and that vision is to get that. Can you sit in the joy of having the thing without having the thing in the 3D yet? Can you sit in that and really sit in a space of and I'm using the term praise and worship just because really I can't think of another term, but really gratitude. Can you sit in real gratitude for how good it feels to have the thing, even if you're only feeling it in the quantum realm, without feeling it in the quantum realm, so that you can get it in a 3D? Can you really, if you only had it there, could you be happy with having it there? That's when you start having something in the tangible. And then of course I have a prayer at the end, where you can, pray and ask for forgiveness for unconsciously creating an idol. But I really wanted to hop on here because I don't think the masses know that we idolize we idolize food. What's funny about it is like this challenge is also a 30-day fast. And it's not an all-day fast. It's from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. But, it's so many people. Every day people comment something about food or needing to eat, or it's always something. Because we have literally idolized food. Like, we can't feel a little hunger pain. It's just like, and then all of a sudden, like, your world is gonna fall apart. You can't go from 6. That's not even 12 hours. Now, if you didn't, if you count from the day before when you went to sleep, okay, you went 18 hours without eating. You could do that. I don't know anybody who can. As a matter of fact, like cancer patients often will do routine 24-hour, 48-hour fasts. And these are people who are on real medications. Your body, when you're sick, often the first thing you want to do is not eat so that your body can heal itself. You're not going to die from not eating. But we have even made food an idol to the point that we cannot deny our flesh for our spiritual good. Which is why I started on day 1, and I said, there's people on day 1 who are here, but they won't be here on day 30. And even if they are, they gave up on the fast a long time ago because they could not deny their flesh for a few hours. We really got to look at that. Yeah, what I said, 6 to 4. Okay, thank you. From 6 to 4. So that's nowhere near. That's even less. What's that, 10 hours? You can't even do a 10-hour shift. Can't do 10 hours. We got a couple participants who get up, and before we start, they'll drink a high. One of them says she do a high protein. I think she says 40 grams of protein shake just to keep her full longer. I'm not waking up at 5 to eat, drink, or do nothing else. So I just ride the thing out. Okay. It's 6:52 now, and I had some pickles. I mean, I'm a little hungry. I am. I'm a little hungry, but I can wait a little longer. Like, I'm not gonna die. I can wait a little longer until I figure out what it is that I want. Really, that's what it is. I should have been thinking about it earlier in the day, but I didn't even want to obsess over food. What I've been focusing on are our declarations. What I've been focusing on is what I'm declaring in my life to be true. What I've been focusing on is this work that I've been called to. And so hunger just can take a back seat. It's just not that serious. And how many times have we been hungry and we're out shopping, or we're hungry and we doing something else and we pushed it to the back? But when it comes to being hungry for our spiritual gain, to get the things that we desire, now all of a sudden we can't make it. Yeah. So anyway, I really just wanted to hop on here on live and have that conversation with you, because I think, again, unknowingly, we make so many things our idol. Unknowingly, we place so many things above source, above the universe, above God. We make it more important. We make what God says secondary, right? My scripture and waters work. Yes, it works. It works. And listen, you can have water, tea, coffee, juice, And not water, coffee is, to me, will push your appetite off, in my opinion. So anyway, that was what I had to come say to you guys today. I haven't come live. I guess I did come live maybe a week or two ago, but I didn't stay live long. But I just think it's really important that we be mindful when we're manifesting these things, that you can absolutely manifest. You can have all the things you want, but keep God at the center of it. Keep source at the center of it, and be willing to say, is this thing or greater? Because I'm not specific about a house. Because what if I don't know something about this house? What if I don't know something wrong with the foundation? What if I don't know I'm trying to manifest this house and then I move into this house and it's going to be a money pit? These are the things. This is why you put God first. This is why you put source first. And this is why sometimes some of the specificity of something, just like a man or a woman, instead of envisioning a specific man or a woman, I might not envision this house on 135 John Doe Street. I might just envision a house and what I feel like being in the house and what the house looks like on the inside. But the address and such doesn't matter to me, because anything else starts to get you a little bit in trouble. Okay, that's why I love the game of life. Yeah, it's amazing. All right, guys. Well, over there, you guys saw I posted a 5-minute video, and my Bible is still here and open. So I figured I really be studying off in that thing. While it's open, let me get a little bit more studying in before my man called me. And God come first. So let me finish. So when my man called me, I can talk to my man. But I wanted to stop and be here with you guys and share that with you guys. And if you haven't joined the Still Well, you want to. It is Faith and Freedom, Faith and Finances Challenge. But it's over in the Still Well Society. Okay? I hope you guys enjoyed it.